Oh, Lord, she hates me.
And Nikki had a party and didn't even overnight me any empanadillas. I said, what?
Hey, Nikki, don't be scared.
Don't be scared.
Don't be scared.
So the new Nikki, explain the new Nikki to me. I haven't talked to you in about 8 months.
I know, I haven't really talked to you that much, Nikki. I mean, I see you post every once in a blue moon, but yeah, we haven't chatted in a while.
I just am laying low from things, and
I think everybody
when it comes to Christmas time, I just focus on the family and the house and cooking and
Dan, you notice she didn't send us anything for Christmas, so she don't consider us family.
Oh my God! And I made the best tamales this year. Oh my God!
Oh,
see.
Oh my goodness.
Yep.
That's not fair.
Well, y'all have to come to El Paso. The door is open.
El Paso, my grandparents were just down there a little while ago.
So wait a minute. Are you north of Baltimore or are you south of Baltimore?
No, I'm west of Baltimore.
Oh,
and I'm east of Baltimore.
Yeah, I think we're both northeast Baltimore. But the thing is, I was gonna suggest if Baltimore's if you were on the way up when he comes up to Virginia here this coming year, you could have stopped by and picked up a care package to bring up.
Hey, did you friend Connie?
Who, me?
Yeah, because she said to send her the link.
Oh, okay, hold on.
Oh God.
Hey, this is an interesting show. Love it.
All right, hold on. Fred's saying something totally different.
Say?
Fred just messaged me. I sent him the link for tonight's show.
Mm-hmm.
You may have to just invite him like you did me, like always.
Yeah, back to the 2016, the last podcast you did. All right.
Oh.
I know. I feel ancient. We used to do these forever ago.
I know. It was forever.
I know. It's kind of like we're going back to the Stone Age.
He even brought up when we did it with Shane and what's her name, Melissa Dare. Those were old shows. Those were some really.
It's got to be
because
I mean. Yeah, because I remember when I was on Shane's show one time, but Fred was already established with him. So, yeah, that must have been before I started getting involved with Shane.
Yeah, that was even before you. It was when it was Henry May and Melissa and me and Girly Bigfooter. I can't remember her real name. What was her real name?
I can't remember. I used to know it. Melissa. Wasn't it Melissa?
It wasn't that important.
Not Melissa Adair, the other one.
Jove?
The dark-haired girl.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't remember. I used to know it, but yeah. All right, I'm sending Connie. Hold on, let's see if it gives me the option. Yeah, I'm sending Connie the link. I asked Fred what's his email, but it shows that he hasn't seen it yet. So I don't know what he's doing.
We'll cross that bridge when we get to it.
All right, now Connie now has the link for the show to jump on live with us. So
it shouldn't be that hard. Maybe it's just their connection or something, but he was fun.
So.
Quite possibly.
All right. Let's see, I got my phone up here against my computer screen so I can see the live chat. We still have a steady 10 viewers at the moment. So
waiting for the drama.
Listen to her. She's always counting on drama. Listen to her.
Drama.
Well, we haven't had none.
That's one thing I used to miss. I used to miss my Bigfoot drama.
Well, we haven't had none in a while, so.
I know.
That's unusual.
I think everybody's just been like fed up, man. A lot of people. I disappeared for a while too, and I come back like 6 or 8 months later, and I see all these new people like in this, like.
Yeah, and they're asking the same old questions, bringing up the same old photos, and I'm like, good Lord, was that stuff ever gonna stop?
Well, hey, talking about photos and everything, here's a good one. Nikki, you recently shared one of the videos from that was Todd Standings, right? Or was that something different? You shared something recently. I didn't look at it, but it was.
I did share something, but I don't remember whose it was. It was. But Bigfoot Tony already said it was a leaf. He showed it.
What do you think
That
of
one?
What do you think of Meldrum and Bindernagel in Standing's video there?
I have to watch that. I haven't watched it.
You haven't watched
Now,
it?
now let me say this. I have not watched it either, but this much I do want to make a note of. And I know even Ken Gerhard had actually said this, and I agree with him 100%. Just because John Bindernagel, Jeff Meldrum were involved in that documentary, that film, does not give credibility to Todd Standing one bit.
Exactly. But Bindernagel did say that he believes there was like a clip it, and he said something about the area and that what is going on he believes is like Sasquatch related right now. He says this like one little part in there. I mean, and then with Meldrum having a sighting,
yeah,
you know.
And for the also may I add this too, for those who may recall this, Todd Standing's wife is a makeup artist for Hollywood.
Call me stupid, fill me in. Is Todd Standing the one where they were saying that where they did the transition to where it was his face to the picture of the Squatch he got?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep, that's him. That's him.
There's
something new that's out now.
Rio actually stuck up for him when he did that on his page. Like, the distance between the nose and the lip and the distance between the eyes couldn't have been Standing because the discrepancy in size or something. Like, he actually measured it and did stuff with, computer generated stuff. And it didn't match, like the distance in the eyes and the distance between the nose and the lip. I mean, I believe at least one of the 6 that he shows is possibly real. But in the new video, let me tell you this. There's a part, I'm going to be a spoiler here. There's a part where he's in the woods and he's got like this light and he's doing his thing and it's nighttime and you can hear these crashes from a few different regions, and he backs up backpedaling and falls on the ground because he's kind of scared. Like, he knocks out the light, breaks the light, but accidentally, as he's filming to, let's say, his left side, he has a log 10 or 15 feet out to his back right, and on that log are apples. And what happens is, as he stands back up between his legs, the camera that's on the ground watching the apples on like 2 or 3 occasions catches a hand come up and over and take the apples. Now, could he have staged that? I guess, but the hand looks really big, and I don't think if he did hoax that Meldrum and Bindernagel would even take part in it. So it's a really interesting part.
I remember seeing that, but I don't remember seeing that footage. So now I'll have to go back and watch it again.
You see the hand come right up over the log, this black hand, and it grabs the apple, and then it grabs another apple. It's crazy. Like, you could tell it's a bigger hand.
Back when the whole deal happened with Todd Standing, and I went and I researched who he was and what's going on, and he has 2 production companies
for sure.
And who was it? Steve Coles or one of them discovered that he had put an ad in the paper for actors right at that specific time before his Muppet show went on. And then there's the whole thing about the makeup artist in the family, but
here's the thing.
So many things.
Here's the point I want to make. Everybody talks about a makeup artist. I'm not sticking up for Standing. I wasn't there. I don't know. But here's the dilemma. So to go into costume, it would take you hours to look like that. At least 5 to 6 hours. I mean, that's a lot going on there. So let's look at it from a standpoint like this. Either A, he got ready at home, drove all the way out there, got to that location, climbed up the hill in costume, everything, and had it shot that way. That don't really seem feasible. Then you have your second option.
No, he would have been seen by several people.
Right. Then you have your second option. He took all the makeup, all the stuff, the suit, everything, and got ready outdoors in the winter on scene, on like, you know, it'd be like a stage. Then went to up the hill and did that. So when people say makeup, they're not really thinking about what has to transpire for that to happen. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's got to go get ready for 5 hours. Even let's just say 3. That's at least 3 hours of makeup. So did he do it in the field or did he do it at home? That's what people aren't thinking. So he did it at home, got in a car, got on that 6-wheeler, drove 3 miles up to Nordegg. I mean, it just doesn't seem feasible.
That's why it was done in his backyard, because we don't know where he was. There's no marker or GPS saying he was there at the time that was filmed. It could have been in anybody's backyard who has pine trees. You know what I'm saying? We don't know if there's a trailer set up on the other side of the camera.
Well, has anybody
put?
Okay, didn't he show Todd, or didn't he show Stroud where it happened? So couldn't we take the back?
Oh yeah, he did. He said he did. We know he has been all over that area. We know he's really gone hiking and boots on the ground. We know that. You know, the whole speculation falls on the videos themselves.
Right.
Because he does not have one long shot of those, I'm just calling them Muppet faces, so that way, you know which ones I'm talking about. Mm-hmm. But those 3 Bigfoot faces, actually it's 4 now, but he has 4 different Bigfoot faces. All of them are portrait size, and he does not pan out at all. You don't see a body on any of them. The only body you see is of the Bigfoot he has that's on the big hill up, and it's walking up on the mountain.
Where it jumps, right?
Yeah, that one. That's the only long shot in all of his shots that he has.
And that may be the real one. That's what I was...
he could have one shot, but the other ones are just...
I'm with you. I mean, I'm still up in arms too. But when you really look at it, it's like nobody really thinks about, where did he do the makeup? How did he set it up? So what I was saying is, it's
a lot of damn work. But if he did do all that, that was a lot of damn work just to be ridiculed more.
Right. And if you look at it, so if he's got a photo or a video where he was with Les Stroud and says this is where it happened, couldn't you take that background and line it up with the background of the photo to actually see if it's the same spot?
Oh, definitely. It's definitely if you even have the equipment, like he does have the equipment, he could do it reverse of what you're trying to say. He could create that background.
Yeah, on the live chat.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, I was just going to mention on the live chat, North Carolina Squatch Watchers, they mentioned, I just got off of the set of The Walking Dead. They do some of the zombies makeup in less than 30 minutes. And before that, he says, it doesn't take a makeup, as far as our makeup artists, it doesn't take them that long anymore. They have stuff pre-made and they glue it on. So.
No, I get it.
I was about to say that.
Even if they say, I mean, we're not, standing isn't Hollywood. So you got to look at least an hour to get in that type of costume.
Right.
I mean, that would be standard. To do all the makeup, do all the hair, get it done, zip it up, put it on, get everything rolling, and then he's sweating his ass off. So I can't see 30 minutes getting that. It may be from a professional, unless he hired somebody that was like the man, because that suit, I mean, if you're going to say it's a suit, I mean, you can't really, I don't know. The eyes blink too good on the one, but I know which one you're talking about. The Muppet is like when it's by the rock or whatever, but I guess we'll never know.
Yeah, we aren't going to know, just like we don't know about a whole lot of pictures out there, so it'll always be the same thing. Like Sam and I were, was it Sam and I or? it might have been Sam and I talking on a chat about all videos that come out are going to be in 4 different categories. It's either a Sasquatch, it's a hoax where a buddy's in a suit, or it's a guy in a suit who's hoaxing the videographer, or it's a hunter in a ghillie suit and is minding his own business, and it's misidentification. It'll always
I ain't
fall
seen no
into,
ghillie suit that looks that good.
it'll always fall into one of those categories. Everyone.
A Squatch Watcher he said it's a movie. They have plenty of time though.
Yeah, they do have plenty of time. So
yeah.
Hey, Baltimore, you still alive there, son?
I am still alive. I'm trying to get my second breath.
Gotcha. Now look, check this out. Fred, I sent him the link multiple times. I've sent it twice to his email. He's not seeing nothing on his email. I just told him also I sent Connie the link, so I don't know what he's just having trouble all around, I guess. So I don't know.
Might be their internet connection or something. Who knows?
I don't know. It could be, but I don't know. I don't know when's the last time they've done a Facebook Live. But.
So just put them live on your phone.
Sarah Davis said he's scared. He doesn't want. So
the thing that gets me, what puzzles me is it's like Nikki was saying, people have only seen Bigfoot one time, and then seen it like 26 something times, and 8 foot tall and 20 footers. The biggest ones that I've heard people saying like 8 feet, 9 feet tall.
Right,
That's more believable. That is believable to me.
And the thing that puzzles me, the whole thing is the smell. It's the smell, because when I saw mine, and I went to that area, this thing stunk.
Right.
So I could just imagine the smell, and that's the only thing that puzzles me.
Well,
and footprints.
Yeah.
And
I mean, they have a smell will be very believable. I mean, because considering that these are, they don't have bath of soap, body wash like we do, and and everything else. But
no, how do you smell, Daniel, after 3 days out in the woods?
But it's
I know I can
not
smell
too
them
bad.
all the way here.
Hey, not too bad because it depends. If I'm out there, if I'm camping and I'm hunting, I'm usually if I don't spill doe urine on me, I'm usually rubbing myself with a pine and a cedar brush, But
if you think about it, though, they could technically be grooming themselves like a cat, a dog, a deer. Not to say they wouldn't smell. Well, here's the thing. I've had multiple encounters over the last 4 to 5 years. Only one time did I have that putrid smell. So the ones that I had captured on video before, there was 3 of them in that area, and I had no smell that day. So I don't know if it could have been the way the wind was blowing or whatnot. But there's also accounts that I've heard where people aren't getting that smell all the time.
See, I agree with you there, Ryan, because out of all the ones that I've seen, only about 2 or 3 of them that I've actually had smell along with the sighting, or
right.
Before or after I'd seen them.
See, and then when Fred talks about seeing so many, it's not that I can't believe it because I'm not in that area and I don't know. But people that are well respected, like Darren Lee from MABRC, he's claimed to have 37 Bigfoot encounters. One, including where he was picked up on his four-wheeler by one. The back of his four-wheeler was picked up while he was on it. So, I mean, maybe it goes against the grain. I don't know. But I do know that I've never seen... The largest one we've seen was 9'8", and that was a measurement based on where it hit its head. I've never seen anything bigger than that, but I have heard in our areas the natives talk about stone giants. That's what
I've heard of them.
They used to call them up in my region with the Six Nations. There are reports of them being 15 feet tall, but I've never seen anything like that. You know what I'm saying? So it's all opinion.
Now, I've actually investigated, and I've met up with several eyewitnesses just here in Virginia alone, and not, I'm not counting my own encounter. The tallest subject I've had in my encounter, we estimated after doing a height comparison, was about 8 foot tall. Now, from all the other eyewitnesses that had road sightings, road crossings, and sightings on the side of the road that I've actually met up with and talked with, they all said the average anywhere from 6 to up to 8 foot tall, nothing taller. Most of them were around the 6 to 7 foot range. Like in my research area, there's one gentleman. He's a hunter. He used to spend a lot of time in that area, and all the years he spent, he's seen one Sasquatch in that area, and it crossed the road on him. It was in the late evening. It was still broad daylight. It was probably about 6, 7 o'clock in the evening, and it crossed the road on him. And he said it was, pretty shaggy looking, dark brown hair. Stopped in the middle of the road for a quick second, and then took off and went across the creek. And he said that there was only about 6 foot tall. And see, I believe that's usually their average. 6 or 7 foot tall is mainly the Virginia average, based off of, eyewitnesses and all the reports I've gathered. I've gathered a lot of reports. And the thing is, when I tell people I've gotten several reports and things I investigate, I don't always share information, but I keep it for my own record, for my own purpose. Because if I share locations, then people are going to want to go check those areas out. There's some areas I don't mind sharing. It's it's public area, but
it's the good areas you keep quiet.
Like why there's certain areas that. Well, yeah, there you go. Good point. But there's one area it's gotten a lot of attention. There's been road sightings, location multiple times. And then not far from this one particular area has been, crazy activity that's, campers been chased out of the area from heavy stones thrown in the area and hearing screams. Bear hunters had claimed seeing, what they believe that was not a bear. 'Cause, bear hunters know how to identify a bear. There's been bear hunters claiming to see, 7 foot tall subjects standing beside trees looking at them, So these are things. Some of my reports that I gathered are actually I count as pretty incredible, because one of them comes from a police officer that I know personally that I actually met during a hunting. I was hunting out in the woods, and I wasn't expecting anybody to be on top of that ridge. That guy scared the crap out of me. By the time I looked up, I noticed there was somebody standing next to a tree. He was full camo, and then when I got startled, he was like, "Shh, come up here." I mean, I'm walking down the middle of the woods, not expecting to see nobody there, because I'm pretty high up there, but sure enough, there was somebody else there. But come to find out, I met this guy, had a good talk with him, found out who he was. When he told me he's a police officer for such and such county, I said, "Oh, then that's where the talk began." Because I was telling him, I said, "Oh, well, I know this police officer," and he knew that guy. And then when I share information, I slowly open up to him about who I am, what I do, blah, blah, blah. That's when he started sharing information with me. I was like, this is good stuff, So, I mean, why would a police officer just make up a story to tell somebody, But
there's actually, you mentioning a police officer, I was just going through an archive through the private channels of SAS Chronicles, and I think it was episode 214, and I listened to it, and there was a gentleman from Buffalo, New York, which is like an hour away from me. And they would go down to Franklinville, which is an hour, would be south of me, well, sort of south, near Salamanca. And they were hunting, and they had this whole thing happen. They were in 2 separate stands. The one guy was an Army, special ops guy that was just, retired or whatever. And he said he was sitting in his blind, and it got ripped off of him, and he looked around and he couldn't see anything, and he didn't know what was going on, so he just froze for a second, and he got kicked in the back, I guess. It jumped out of the tree, kicked him in the back. He went flying on the ground with his gun, and he had a 22 on his side. Right then, the other partner in the tree stand, they had walkie-talkies. They radioed each other, or he was coming over the radio, telling his partner, "Run, get out of here." And the buddy ran toward him instead of ran, in the other direction. So as they're, running away, this thing kind of grabs him by his ankle and drags him. He ends up shooting it with a 22 once or twice. It lets him go, starts screaming, and he gets up, grabs his partner. They run to the cabin, and all night long they heard screaming and all kinds of stuff. But the guy seemed pretty credible about the whole thing. It happened, I guess, maybe 4 or 5 years ago or something. But it was interesting to find out that the guy was a cop, a total, Army type guy, Ranger, all that. So I actually got a hold of Wes, and I was like, hey, if you can give me this guy's contact, I'd like to really look into that, because that interests me, when it's in your neck of the woods like that.
That sounds terrifying.
It was terrifying. I was listening to this, what is happening? And the guy didn't miss a beat. He was telling...
I'm going to have to go back and watch that.
Yeah. And I was like, what? I just happened to stumble on this. It was unreal. I think it was episode 214. I think I shared it on my timeline. So it should be there from a day or two ago.
Okay.
What also is cool in my area, I just got a report 2 days ago. They've been putting up all these windmills, for the solar or the wind energy. So they had destructed a ton of woods out here, and I kept telling my research buddies, I said, they're cutting through some of the main habitat where we've had encounters. I said, they're gonna run into these, things. And my buddy Dan was like, dude, I bet you're right. So yesterday Dan calls me, Dan Wysocki, and he says, dude, my buddy, I think he said Keith or Kevin, he said, works on the crew erecting these windmills. And I was like, oh, really? And he's like, yeah. And he's like, but check this out. He's like, I guess they've had a few sightings off this one road. I don't want to mention the road. They've had a few sightings of Bigfoot. And I was just, these people don't even know anything about Bigfoot from Adam. So then he's telling me the other day they came in there, and around the bulldozer there was footprints, I guess in the snow or whatever, and they took photos. So I said, dude, you need to get me in touch with this guy so I can get him, I want to get those photos. I'd like to really get an interview with this guy. I'd like to find out, because that leads to more. Maybe he can get another guy that, whatever. But the amount of destruction they're doing, I knew they would run across them. So hopefully it pans out.
You're talking about construction and heavy machinery. About a month ago, maybe about 5-6 weeks, maybe I've lost track. There was a oil team that come in here drilling on this farm that's just about a mile up the road from me. And leading up to whenever they started bringing the platform in and started drilling, it was just quiet, normal time of year. And then they brought all this heavy equipment in. They started making the dirt level so that way they could put the platform up, and they started hitting all the machinery and started drilling. That's when everything started going haywire out here. The deer was acting funny, the turkeys were acting funny, the coyotes were funny. And I would drive by there every day going to work, because they just go at the end of my road and hang a left, and they're up the road a mile. And the guy was pulling out, leaving the shift to go back home, and he says to me, flagged me down. He says, "What's that on the back of your truck?" Because it says Blimp Mobile SIMH Team USA on my tailgate. Just a little bit of cheap advertisement on my truck. And he says, "What's that stand for? I've seen you drive by here every day." And I said, "Well, that stands for Southern Illinois Monster Hunters. I'm the team leader." He goes, "So you believe in that Bigfoot stuff and everything?" I said, "Yes, sir." I said, "I'm an investigator for this part of Southern Illinois." He goes, "I got something to tell you." And I said, "Well, I've got time." He goes, "Well, I can't tell nobody." His name was Richard, and I'm going to leave it at that. And he says, we come in here about a week after we started drilling, and something was off. It was right after one of the big rain come through. You remember that? And I said, yeah. He goes, well, we come in here, and we had all, you know how you see from the road, we have all our equipment put off to one side. And I said, yeah. He goes, well, we was coming in here one morning to fire up a piece of machinery to help put the, what do you say, the suspension cables that keeps the thing level vertical, the platform. And he says, and there was something messing with that thing, and the cable was pulled out of the spool. And I said, what do you think it was? He goes, well, we kept cameras surveilling everything around the clock, and there was something on there, but you can't make out what it was. And I said, well, was it a man? He goes, no, you couldn't see its face. And I asked him, I said, well, he showed me a picture of where it was real high tension cable, you know, the kind they'll use for keeping a radio tower anchored, guys.
Right.
A real thick cable.
Yeah.
Okay,
That
yeah.
stuff was pulled completely out of the spool for about maybe 10 foot, and it looked like a rat's nest had been made in that thing.
Wow.
Just a god-awful, knotty mess. And he told me that, and then about a week later, they pulled out of the area, and they just pulled the platform down about a week ago, and ever since then, things have gone back to normal.
Here, like around a couple of days ago, well, actually, like three or 4 days ago, I got a couple of strange photos. And one of them was taken on December the 16th. And I'm trying to get in contact with the people who actually got this trail cam photo. And but they actually sent it to me. A friend did. And you could actually see a reddish arm going over the field camera. And you could actually see it knotted, red knotted. It's red knots on it, on the hair. But it's a beautiful reddish orangutan color. But I'm just trying to make sure I know exactly the location where it's at. It's actually a location where other people have actually been seeing it, but now there's actually something caught on the trail cam. But I got to get permission first before I do anything else. So that's what I got working on right now. And then I have another photo that I haven't sent out yet, and I'll probably send you all private messages and everything like that for you all to see it, to let me know what it is. Is actually a deer is actually eating, and there is this strange light behind this deer. And right beside it, I didn't see it, but another investigator looked at it when I showed it to him, and he comes up, he goes, "What's that behind the tree?" And you could actually see something behind the trees sitting down, and you could actually see the mouth and the eyes and everything, but this thing was massive. And he comes up and he goes, "You have to go investigate that." He goes, "Well, when the BCC actually went up there and actually did a show over there, a show with me, what I did was I went over there and investigated the area, and I did find an arch." So the thing is, again, I had to debunk it, the arch, because the storms that came in. So and then so I just left it like that. So I'm still looking at this photo real closely, but it really got me stunned because there's actually 3 photos riding back of each other that actually show strange lights and actually show something on the film. And then, but the strange thing about it, the deer don't move. But all of that, I would have to debunk it because of the way that the deer was acting.
Were the lights a straight white light?
Straight white lights.
See, that's what I captured too. I shared that probably something like that from one of my trail cameras maybe 6 months ago. And the deer, there also was a deer in the video.
Right.
But the deer kind of runs off. But these lights that were captured look like they come from above, like up in the air. And
right.
They're kind of like going down on the ground across the trees, and you know, at first you think, well, maybe it's a spider on the lens or something. But at one point, you could see the trees illuminate. And, like,
Right.
yeah, and when you see that, I looked up to see, like, if you're looking toward the top of the video, trying to see if there's, like, a spider leg or anything. There's nothing, like, there, but you can see these lights illuminate these trees. And it's really unnerving, you know what I mean? Because there's so much we don't know. I mean, are we delving into this paranormal thing, even though I don't want to anymore? You know what I mean? I've had a lot of things happen that I just don't want to go down that road anymore. So I'm trying to just, when I encounter that, I'm almost writing it off a little bit. Just because some of the things that happened to me because of it. And that's one of the reasons I backed away for so long. You know what I'm saying?
I know exactly what you're saying. Yeah.
I know how touchy you are about the paranormal. Whenever you contacted me saying that the way that structure looked, it didn't look Bigfoot, it looked witchcraft look, and I wouldn't have been surprised if it wasn't at all, because there's known witch covens around here.
Hey Ryan, I had a quick question for you. You coming down? You coming down to Virginia this coming year?
You're coming to pick me up?
What? Come on, you got money.
I said you're coming to pick me up. Why's it got to be about money?
You got money. You can afford to travel down here.
Oh man! Listen to this guy. I'll think about it. I'll see what the situation entails.
Okay.
Well,
come on down to the conference.
My birthday's on the 29th. So I'll have to see what's up. But the only problem, what do you got, the 30th and the 1st?
Yeah, June 30th and then July 1st, and which is also followed by a whole week long of camping. So
why didn't you do it?
You come down the 29th, I'll buy you a drink.
That'd be nice, but I quit drinking.
Ah.
Yeah, it's been 7 years.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm thinking about coming down. Is Fred coming? I don't know. I mean, I know.
Yeah,
a lot
Fred
of people...
agreed. Fred agreed to be there. I think him and Connie are going to be there. I offered them a free invite.
Awesome. So you offered me a free invite. Thanks.
Yeah, actually, I will. How about that?
That was a good one. No, I might. I probably will. The only thing, some of our biggest activity happens around July 1st up here. That first week of July, like May and July, it just sets so much off up here that we try to be in the woods a lot. That it actually screws me up a couple of times from going to a few places, but it's like, do I go to a conference or do I get in the woods? And it's like, you know what I mean? But yeah, we could talk more about seeing what's what. I think it's only about 6-7 hours away.
Yeah. Ryan, when for me is when I went to Duncan, New York, with my fiance over there. I went to a lot of different creek beds and everything, and it's good to see. It's good to see different terrain, and it's good to see different types of. I'm pretty sure that y'all have the same trees, right, and the same terrain, right?
Well, I live in Dunkirk, but my research area is like 30 minutes south.
Okay.
A lot of the terrain, we got a lot of maple up here.
Right.
A lot of rolling hills, but once you get up toward, let's say, almost to Jamestown, it start turning into mountainous areas, and that takes you down Appalachian down toward PA. Right.
Yeah, that is some beautiful country over there. And there was some park that I went over there where the Seneca Nation had their powwow. Mm-hmm. I actually looked on the sides there and actually saw the water coming out from the mountains and everything, from the hills, whatever you have there. It was just totally amazing.
Oh, so you were at the Seneca Reservation?
Right.
Yeah. Probably off of 438.
Right. Some park that's down over there, huge park. That I was actually at, and then I was checking their terrain out. It was totally amazing. Excellent place to hide. The creek beds are so deep. I mean, you had so many river walks and everything, salamanders. I mean, you had a lot of food supplies down there. So
this area is really amazing, and See, that's why I tell people, like, a lot of people are like, well, why do you research Bigfoot? I said, I didn't ask to do this. It wasn't like I just picked up one day I wanted to start researching. It was after the 2 sightings that I had, which, thrust me into doing this. And our area here in Western New York is kind of like a haven, I call it. It's just been overlooked. There's been sightings so long, and it's just nobody's ever researched it. And then what kind of helped me out was they had the Expo in Mayville where Steve Culls and everybody else came out, and we did the video with Bob Gimlin and them, and Peter Weimer put it all together. It that kind of like helped me when I first started to say, hey, I'm not crazy. All these other people are witnessing this thing out here. Then I spoke we had a guy on a show one time. What was his name? Kenneth Jaholski. He's a Kenneth, anthropologist. And he got a hold of me and he was like, hey, I know where you're located, and 15 years ago I had a sighting, and it was on some of the same trails that you're talking about in this area. And I was like blown away because, it starts to validate things, and it takes you back to, wow, how long have these things really been here? Have they just, is it their safe zone for the last 100 years? You just don't know. They have patterns to them, and if you can figure out the pattern, it's a puzzle, and once you start to put it together, you will have more and more sightings. Like you've seen one, if you could start to figure out more in depth when they move, how they move, where they're moving. It took me a few years in this 4,000 acre area, just in this, there's like 12,000, but when I started finding where they would go to, I still don't know why they move. It's almost methodical. Like, I don't know if it was for food sources or what, but they'd stay in one area for maybe like 3 weeks, and then they'd move. And it was like, okay, where'd they go? Well, I thought that they just migrated off. Well, after paying attention, they would only move maybe like a half a mile or a quarter mile to another ridge or to another area. And I was like, whoa, they're just moving around. And then they'd move another half mile. But they made this big circle. They would make this big circle coming back to the original area. And it's like, this is crazy. But it would take, from February to October for them to do all this.
Okay. I got a food source, it sounds like.
See, I'll tell you what, the both of y'all nailed it. Because I've actually had some strange kills. And I know that I've said it to y'all many a times on this show. And I saw a dead buck, pretty close to towards a real small little pond. And sure enough, the sucker was dead, eaten, and everything like that. And then 3 weeks later, it was like clockwork. Like 3 weeks later, there was another dead deer on the same spot. So what it actually was doing was actually, I call it a lair. It was actually eating in that same spot.
Yes.
And then so it came back 3 weeks later, and I said, well, I guess a pattern stopped. And sure enough, I went way into the areas where there was high grass, and found another buck in the high grass. So. And then a few weeks later, I talked to another hunter, and he comes up and he was actually hunting in the same area where these deer was killed at. And I said, "Hey, he goes, did y'all kill a buck down here?" I go, "No, why?" He goes, "Well, because we actually found this buck that somehow it was buried under a couple of big old branches of brush, and it's very odd." I said that, and he told me the location where it was at and everything, and it was the same location where I saw these, and when I found these carcasses of deer.
It's crazy you say that because this hunting season was rough for many people.
You're telling me.
I seen Kentucky, Illinois, New York, Ohio, PA. on the forums, people were complaining so much, like, where are the deer? Where did the deer go? I'm not hearing any shooting. I'm not. What is going on? Like, I mean, I got mine during archery, so I got lucky. But it was like they were ghost after that. But it wasn't just that. It's like the DEC or the DNR is telling us X amount of deer are here, blah 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 blah. But it seems like it's nowhere near that. Like, I'm wondering if the Squatch population is increasing and possibly taking these deer out, because I mean, there's no way that I could. By far, this was the worst year that I've ever seen for hunting across half the eastern United States. I mean, you got
guys bad in the Midwest. You ain't alone.
Exactly. So it's like, what is going on? There's some, besides the EHD and CWD, there's something going on to where these deer were skittish, they were not moving, they were ghost, and it just seemed like the population had decreased. I mean, it was I don't know. I don't even know. I probably hunted out of, like, our season's October, November. We got like a 90-day season, and our team probably put in 45 days of that. Like, that's decent hunting, And our camp will, bless you, our camp will usually come out with 8, 9 deer. 3 were taken in 45 days. Wow. So yeah. So that's how bad it was. So I jumped on the forums, New York State Hunter, this one, that one, and everybody was complaining, like, where are the deer? What's going on? I haven't seen a deer in 3 weeks. And it just, something doesn't seem right in the woods, is what I'm trying to get at.
Well, it's like here in Virginia during the hunt season, just the 1 week I was out there, I might have heard maybe very few gunshots. Opportunity to get one, but I had my daughter with me. I had a buck coming right towards our ground blind, and I was getting ready for the perfect opportunity. But besides the deer getting wind of us, because I told her to stay still, she kept playing around, moving around. But that was the one deer we did see the whole time we were out there. I mean, driving into the area, I did see a doe crossing the road on me. It was, the light was, still kind of dark, but as far as the other hunters and stuff, yeah, Virginia had a lot of deer taken in surrounding areas, but in the national forest, they're usually pretty well abundant. I mean, really, you didn't hear no gunshots out there.
Right.
So yeah, it was slim like that. Now, right behind where my ground blind was, is one of the areas I consider a bedding area for the deer, and I walk through there every so often. You can see where they travel constantly, where they bed down at. But I'm finding deer bones in there too. Now, one of the things is we got a lot of coyotes in the area, and I know they're big. Some of them are. I've seen coyotes, how big they are there. Because I don't know, it's probably been about close to 6 months ago. I was camping, and I actually seen a coyote chasing a deer. And when I first saw that coyote, I thought it was a wolf. It was big. Yeah. So I mean, coyotes are one of the biggest problems we have in our area. But then again, I think the coyotes are getting out of hand there. I think they need to set a bounty or something on them. But
they just
he was talking about with the hearing so few gunshots compared to this year to last year. Whenever I hunted first day of shotgun season last year, right after first light, because legal hunting time after first light is 7 o'clock in the morning here in Southern Illinois. After 7 o'clock to the point about 10, 11 o'clock in the morning, I heard a total of 15 shots last year. This year, I only heard 5.
Well, wow. Even our hogs. So we normally catch like 20 or 30 of them in the traps, and so far we only caught 2. So
something is definitely changing. I don't know if it's with nature or what the situation is, but there's been a shift. You can just see it in the animals, but the abundance of squirrels is unreal.
Oh yeah, there was a lot of squirrels out there during hunting this year. Big ones too.
Unreal.
Rabbits. Yeah. I mean, there's plenty of rabbits out there in the woods because, during almost lately, every time I'm out there camping at night, you could hear a predator taking a squirrel. You can hear the scream of a squirrel. I mean, not a squirrel, but a rabbit. I mean, yeah, we got barred owls. There's a lot of barred owls in the area. So, they're taking anywhere from the field mice out there, rabbits, and, again, the coyotes. So, but
Well,
You got the
yeah,
coy
that's
wolf.
most I hear.
something is changing because Baltimore, you told me whenever I'm out, keep an eye out and changing in the wildlife. The one thing I noticed about this year, there was no quail this year. Usually
I've
every
seen a
day you can hear them out here doing their bob white call going. Didn't hear any of that this year.
Yeah, there's a definite change in wildlife in general, and I mean, even I'll tell you why too, because I haven't seen a bear in I don't know how many years hunting. I've been hunting 24 years. The last time I seen one, I think I was 9 with my old man. I'm 36. This year I actually seen one come back into our area, and it's like, what caused this shift? You know what I mean? What's causing this change? And there's enough food. There's an abundance of corn and apple trees, and it's there. It's just something is causing the change, and I don't know what it is. We did have a lot of rain this year up here, but it's going up. It's getting to the point where you're sitting in your stand like, why am I even here?
Yep.
You come out frustrated. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Because I didn't see any quail this year. I barely saw any cardinals. Hardly heard the whippoorwill this year. But the coyotes were thicker than hair on a dog's back this year.
See, we got coy wolf up here now. We do got coyote, but they're just kind of like they're packed up in certain areas. That's what it seems like.
Yeah.
You know what
But
I mean?
alrighty, guys, I'll call it a night. So,
Yeah,
I've been up too long.
Yeah, I'm getting ready to call a night myself. I do want to let you guys know, Connie was messaging me through Fred's page. She said tomorrow she'll set up a podcast show for if we want to do that through hers. That way we could all get on there tomorrow if you guys want, sometime tomorrow night. They'll let me know
Yeah,
what
I'm going
the
to start
time.
calling it a night, too, because it's midnight past 4 o'clock, and Mom's got to work, and she's already griping at me.
Sure thing.
She said whatever time we want. What would be a good time tomorrow night for you guys? But 8 o'clock,
6
9
o'clock
o'clock?
Central for me.
I was going to say 7 o'clock because tomorrow's New Year's Eve, and if you get 2 hours out of it.
Okay, yeah, because
I'll be at a party, so
You
I
damn,
ain't
Have
partying.
fun.
I'm
you
staying on
damn
getting
drunk.
have fun because I'll be having my Dos Equis by
You better
8 o'clock.
you better
Oh, I'm moving into your place.
you better go in the bathroom with your phone there and a headset.
Yeah. So, wait, Ryan, 7 o'clock. You're Eastern time where you're at, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm Eastern. Yep, that's 6 him.
Okay. Okay, so yeah, 7 o'clock. Yeah, that sounds reasonable. We could try to do 7 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. So
That'll be 5 my time.
Well,
all right.
Maybe that's possible. Maybe that's possible.
even if you get on for an hour or whatever it is.
All right. Well,
Yeah,
I
because
just
that'll be
met-
5 my time.
all right. I just told them 7 p.m. So let's see what they say. They're responding now. But meanwhile, while we're waiting on the response, I just want to give everybody a heads up and a reminder. Tickets for the ECBRO First Annual Virginia Bigfoot Conference are half price till the end of this month. Then they double. June 30th and July 1st is the ECBRO First Annual Virginia Bigfoot Conference, and it's going to be a great time. If you are on Facebook, you can find our event page through your search bar. ECBRO First Annual Virginia Bigfoot Conference is what you enter. Also, I've actually left the link in the do it again a second time.
Yeah, you did. You left it right here in the live chat. I'm looking right at it.
Yeah, I sent one. There's one for the tickets, And then let me do one for the actual event page again. So yeah, there's 2 links. One for our ticket link, one for our event page. If you just go directly through our event page on Facebook, all the information, there, all our speakers and all our information. So take advantage of the half-price tickets before the end of this month. And if you have any questions, you can email me at ecbro98@gmail.com or directly on Facebook. So thank you guys for tuning in. It's been a great time, great discussion, and tomorrow night it's looking at about 7 p.m. I think we're going to do another live podcast show, but it's going to be through Fred or Connie's YouTube channel.
We can always share the
So
link.
that's going to be interesting. Oh yeah, absolutely. Once I get it, I'll share the link around.
All right, guys, I'm out of
So
here.
yeah, thanks again, guys.
Bye.
It's been great, and